Welcome back to Build for Health, the show that redefines strength one conversation at a time. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm joined as always by strength coach and trainer Srdjan. Today, we are rewinding the clock, not to the PRs, the routines, but to that moment before it all begins, getting started. Whether you're staring down your first dumbbell or coming back after years on the sidelines, the first step can feel massive. But what if we could make it easier, more doable, frankly, more human? Srdjan is going to break it down, the mindsets, the mistakes, the minimum effective dose, and how you can build a foundation without feeling like you're sprinting from the couch to a CrossFit box. Let's talk about how to start and stay started. All right, Srdjan, here we are.
Hello.
My hope for this is that you are able to use it as what we call in the podcasting business, a library episode, right? We want to make this thing as evergreen as we can for anybody coming today, tomorrow, as long as we can, to use this as a way to think about getting started on their training journey.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping that if they hear this, and even if they started at any point and then they gave up, that this is going to make them rethink and take these steps and make them hopefully stick to it this time and start again.
All right, so let's start with the big one. And I don't have to think back too very long about asking the question, what does getting started really mean? And I come at it from, somebody who's coming to you for help, that realizing that it was time for me to change my behavior, right? That I recognized I was going to hurt myself more and feel worse as I got older if I didn't do something different. When you see a doofus like me come through the door, and I think I interrupted your workout, if I'm remembering correctly. I interrupted your own workout.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. What does it mean to get started from your perspective?
Well, it's the hardest thing, actually, to decide that you're going to actually change your whole lifestyle. Everything's different. You have to change everything, your whole lifestyle. And for some people, that it just sounds a lot like it's not going to happen. It's just like it's too much. And they don't take necessary steps and start slow, because it is a lot if you think about it, changing your whole life. And a lot of people come to me for different reasons. Some of them because of some health issues that the doctors maybe told them, I'm like, hey, it's maybe time to change your nutrition, your diet, exercise more and stuff like that. So they come to me for those reasons. Some of them would get hurt by just doing normal stuff, everyday stuff around the house, and they just feel like they can't continue. They can't work around the garden, or it's getting to the point where they stay in too long, their back hurts and things like that. So what kills me the most is like that people wait till something that happens before they can actually come to me. And for me, then it's a lot harder to get them started and to fix all those issues than if they would have
you're in the middle of rehabilitation.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they would have just come to me before that happened, when they feel good, because everyone, when they feel good, they feel everything's great. Nothing's going to happen to them. I'm like, that's the times when you take advantage of that, when you feel good, to start and used to build the muscle, to build the strength. So it doesn't come to that point where now it's like, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to change my whole life. I have to change something about it. I don't want to feel this way. It's just going to get worse as you get older. So I wish you would have come to me earlier, but we can still work around it. You can still do it. It's still doable. It's just going to take a little bit more work. It's going to take a little bit more time. And then I just tell them what it's going to take and how it's going to be. So then I stop talking about the small steps. So it seems doable for them.
We're talking about coming to you for injury, but there are lots of reasons people come to you. And I'm curious what you see as the big sort of mental roadblocks for people who are just getting started or getting started again. What are they afraid of coming back to the gym? Because I imagine if you're listening to this and you're just exploring some of these ideas in yourself for the first time, you're probably facing these very questions.
Yeah, they start thinking about everything and they get overwhelmed. with so many things. They were thinking about nutrition and lifting weights and going to the gym and how to lift and the programs, and they don't know any of this stuff. And like I said, just get overwhelming. And it's like, for them, it's impossible. They don't know how to do this. So they don't know where to start. And then they'll try on their own. And because they're not starting the way it's supposed to, and they find themselves struggling with all these things. And then they'll be like, well, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I can't do this. I don't know how. Instead of coming to someone and actually talking to somebody who can actually guide them through. It's just they do get way overwhelmed because they start thinking about everything. And it's a lot of things, but there are certain steps that I kind of start to guide them through. I'm like, okay, don't think about this stuff now. I'm like, that's going to come later. Like the forum and the programs and all that stuff. I'm like, leave that up to me. So I'm like, we'll start slow. You won't even actually have to start coming to the gym the first month, maybe. Think of that like it's going to come in later. Don't overwhelm yourself with that. The hardest part that everyone have a problem with, and it doesn't matter what level you are, the fitness level, it's the nutrition. It's just people build those habits. They love their food and what they've been eating for years.
Well, I know we need to take a sidebar on nutrition because that's a thing that, we've talked about a little bit. I feel like the hardest thing for me was just figuring out how to get through the gym door, right? And stay there. Like everything that happens once I'm inside the gym is gravy. So I chose to go at it from the perspective of let me just feel what it feels like to be sore every day a little bit. And let me just feel what it feels like to make that progress. And then we kick in the idea of, oh, right, I have an entirely different set of habits around lifestyle related to the way I look at food that I recognize in my head that I need to change. In my heart and my gut, I'm not quite there. Like figuring out how to make that change is kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it is. You can't just change everything. No one can give up their food right away. The next day, everything's gone. So I'm like, okay, let's work. It takes one step at a time and see what you eat. I have everyone lay out everything that they eat. And then I start taking slowly some things out. I'm like, all right, let's for example, your sweets and maybe your sodas. You love sodas. So I'm like, okay, let's not completely take them out, but instead of, drinking one every day, how about drinking one every third, fourth day? Slowly take them out. All right, all the processed food, how about we take that out? So slowly getting them used to that now lifestyle. And then I start replacing things like, okay, they love ice cream. They always crave something cold and sweet. I'm like, okay, we'll find the yogurt. You can eat that instead of this and that. So slowly like that, start changing their nutrition and getting them used to the new stuff that are healthier for them. There's a lot of stuff that are so healthy and so delicious, so tastes great. It's just they're stuck with their habits. So breaking those habits is the hardest part. But we take one step at a time. Because if I tell them like change everything right away, you're gonna get rid of all this and then you're gonna eat all this, and giving them written diets. That's why I don't do that when I do nutrition with my clients. I don't tell them, okay, you're gonna eat this and this and this for lunch, breakfast, dinner, all that snacks, because it's not realistic. They're not gonna stick to it. It's impossible.
I think it's interesting that I come to this podcast and you are, as a trainer, we're talking about getting started on your fitness journey at the gym, and the first thing you say, the first major topic is nutrition, and you actually say out loud, don't come to the gym for the first month. If you're scared of the process, that seems very real.
Because just changing the nutrition, you're going to start seeing a difference. You don't even have to go work out. Just changing nutrition, what you eat, what you put in your body, you're going to start feeling different, feeling better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to start feeling different. And then you're going to feel like, okay, now I can go for a longer walk. Just add some walks, add some steps to your days. Like that's going to be the first step of exercise. Maybe now you go on the walks and you're adjusting your diet, and just doing that for the first month, you will see the change. I want people to start working on that. Yeah.
I've got a related question for you, which is, when somebody walks in, are you judging their readiness for the gym? Like, is there a baseline level of sort of fitness or strength that beneath which somebody should not really be working in the gym yet? Is that kind of what we're talking about, or
No? I mean, they when they come in, that means they made up their mind. They have time to come into the gym. They want to get committed and to workouts, and they just don't know how, of course. So
yeah,
that's why I put them through those like first couple workouts where I'm pretty much assessing their body and see how much they can do, how much I can push them. Looking at their strength level, if there are any injuries, any muscle imbalances, things like that, that could actually get them hurt. So I want them to be safe. And then everyone comes on a different level. Some people are actually pretty strong and they can do more right away. And they're aware of their body and the way it moves, and I can do more with them. Some of them are not. So we go over that and we start slow. We'll start with only maybe half an hour at the gym. You don't have to spend hours and go a whole hour. We go half an hour, a couple times a week, just getting used to that body, that soreness. Because if you go right away and, I can kill them in 1 hour and they can be sore for like 2 weeks. And then like there was the point in there, like you want to be able to come back again the next day and the day after that and be able to do more. So everyone starts at a different level.
How much time do you spend thinking about working with your clients on determining their motivation for working out, right? Because we talk about, you come in from injury, you're sort of running from injury, right? You want to get healthy because you don't want that to happen. But what motivates people to continue coming to the gym? Weight loss, strength, body, ego? What are the kinds of things that how does that impact the way you work with a client?
Well, what motivates them when they start not just feeling the difference, but they start seeing it. Because I do measurements with my clients every month. Because sometimes you're like, it takes time for you to see the difference. You're going to start feeling it before you see it, right? You feel it before you see it. So the first months, they're figuring out what they're doing, how to do the form right, and how to move and all that stuff. And then second month, they're starting to feel stronger. They're starting to build muscle, so they might feel like a little more hungry now. Metabolism speeding up. They feel they have more energy. They sleep better. All these things. So they start getting excited. Now they're getting a little bit more motivated. They can feel the change. That something's happening. And then if they stick to the diet and all that stuff, and they're consistent, because it's all about the consistency. After 3 months, they're going to start seeing the changes. They're going to see, now the muscles are showing that the definition is coming, or, the scale is going down. We do the measurements and it shows that now they're losing body fat and they're gaining muscle mass, and they're very excited about that. They don't want to stop now. Sometimes they were like, "Oh, can we add another day?" I'm like, "Okay, slow down. We'll get there."
I think that's a really good observation. The fact that your motivation is going to change over time, potentially, right? I may come into you because I'm feeling I don't want to hurt as I age and injure myself. And I might just like the way I look and the way I feel, and that's okay too.
The beginning, it's hard because they're not seeing anything yet, and people think that they're going to see it right away. And that's why they quit. They don't see it, and they're like, well, probably doesn't work. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any results. And at the beginning, they're not very consistent because they're like, well, I'm tired. I got some things to do, stuff like that. And I'm like, and then it takes them longer to actually see any results. So I have to talk to them. I'm like, it's not about the perfection. It's consistency. Nobody's perfect. I'm not expecting you to be perfect. I want you to try. I want you to come in. I'm like, I have people where I would call them an hour before. I would text them the first thing in the morning. I'm like, hey, remember, we got a session today. So if I come in, remember why you started. Why are you doing this? How bad do you really want this? So I'm trying to motivate them right away. Have them start thinking about it so they can come in, so they're consistent. Once they're consistent and they start seeing those results, now the consistency is not a problem anymore. Now they want to be there.
Let's talk about those first level priorities when you walk in. What are you going to be focusing on in terms of the, apart from the nutrition, but in terms of actually moving your bod? We're talking about form, we're talking about frequency, we're talking about weight, we're talking about intensity. Walk me through how you guide those first, weeks to months with someone.
Well, the first thing is form, making sure that they're safe once they're doing the exercise. I train a little bit different because I talk to them everything that we do. Like I explain everything I do, why we're doing it, and why are we doing maybe particular exercise after this one or that one? Why are we not doing this? And what muscle groups are involved? And I talk to them. I pretty much educating them through the process, explaining where the certain muscles are located. Because if they can understand, the better they understand, the better they'll be able to execute that exercise and be safe. And they're going to feel it if they're doing it wrong. They're like, well, I shouldn't be feeling there. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, and then stop. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure that they know what they're doing and why are they doing it, and understand the way the body moves and where those certain muscles are located. So once they understand that and once they're safe, then we can kind of go and think outside the box and do other things and exercises, stuff like that. But safety comes first, especially people that are a little bit older come in. It'll take a lot longer once you get hurt to recover from those injuries. Like 20-year-olds, teenagers, they come, they'll live with their egos a little bit, and I have to calm them down. Like, okay, let's go light away. They'll get hurt a little bit here and there, but they bounce back really fast, just like that. So it's not a big deal for them. But for people that are, over 30, 35, and close to 40, that's when everything starts feeling like it's falling apart.
Right. Yeah. No, I resemble that remark. What, when I come in, I've gone back and forth. This whole expectation of, look, I just need to show up. That's my minimum dose. But just showing up also doesn't necessarily lead to the kind of change that I want to see, when I look at myself today versus where I imagine myself in a year. What do you look at in terms of the minimum effective dose of training to actually start to get to those sort of motivations that build upon themselves?
To get to the results. So that's why I do at the beginning, like an assessment, couple of sessions to see how much they can do, because I want to push them. I want to push their limits. And everyone has, different limits, but there's a fine line between, pushing the limits and now pushing to the point where you're going to get hurt. You're doing too much. So you have to know where to draw the line, right? So that's why I'm there, to make sure that they're being challenged, that they're pushing their limits, but in a safe manner, that they're still staying safe. So for me, it's like the reason why I'm there is to push you to the point to push you outside your comfort zone, right? Because everyone, they go and they'll try to start by themselves, but they do just enough where they're comfortable. So they kind of they remain the same, really. They don't really change much. They might change a little bit, see some difference at the beginning because they haven't done anything in years. But then they're going to flat plateau, they're going to stop right there, and they're not going to see any differences. So the way I go and I tell them, like, if you don't give your body a reason to change, it's not going to change. It's going to remain the same. So like, that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. Because all the muscle growth, all the strength is the response to the stress that you put on your body. So I'm here just to put just enough stress on your body where it's going to start changing, but you're going to stay safe. You're not going to hurt yourself. And that's when you start seeing the results.
I feel like the thing that I can't do for myself is I have a lower opinion of my capabilities than you do.
Yes,
I stop.
Everyone does.
Yeah, right. And I think that's a really important thing I want to make sure is for those who are brand new to this, that's okay. You demonstrate things to me regularly that I think you're a lunatic. There is no way my body will do the stuff that I think I actually applauded you once. You were demonstrating something to me. And the surprise is I'm now able to do it. And that I have a very difficult, when you talk about mindset, a very difficult time internalizing the fact that I am a guy who can do some of the things that you're demonstrating, because you understand where the box ends and where I should be pushed outside of it and maintain safety. That's something I can't do at home. I can't do on my own.
Yeah, mindset is huge. Everything that we do here it's a lot of it, almost everything is mental. That's your body can do so much more than you think, but you're stopping yourself, you're limiting yourself because you're scared you're going to get hurt. You've never done this. I'm never going to be able to do this, and you pretty much convince yourself that you can't do something. So, and you probably won't be able to do it if you convince yourself and keep telling yourself you can't. If you tell yourself, yeah, I can, your body will do it. You'll do it. Because when I give somebody, for example, I'm like, okay, you're going to do 12 reps of this. They're like, well, I can't. I'm like, I can only do 10. And literally they convince they can do 10 and they'll stop at 10 and they can't do anymore. But then I'll have them do, and I'm like, focus on this, focus on that. I distract their mind before I know that. I'm like, see, you did 12 right now. You said you couldn't do more than that. So just distract their minds. It's all about the body and mind connection. So that's kind of what we also work on here, that I'm trying to help people develop that connection between mind and the body, because it's a lot of it is mental. Because I've seen it. There's so many years. I know what people are capable of. And then once I train you for a couple of weeks and all that stuff, I know what you're capable of. And you're just afraid to push to get to that. So I'm there to push you, but kind of guide you to get there slowly and safely. But I know you can do it. And I'm like, just listen when I tell you, just follow my voice. Like, just trying to change their mindset and the way they think. I'm like, don't think you can't do it. Yeah, you can. Try it. So
for people who are on that fence and thinking about, I'm ready for change, I'm ready to do something new, can you give me an example of a simple, sustainable sort of routine that I might be looking forward to in the first week? What would you do for somebody off the street that says, hey, this is how we're going to tackle the first week in a way that hopefully will keep you coming back to the gym for week 2?
Well, you're starting with something simple that they know even that they can do it. Because you don't want to give them something that's so challenging that in their mind, like you said, oh my God, I can't do this. And this pretty much set them up for a failure. You set up the small goals. You set up a very simple set of exercises and the programs that they can do, that they feel like once they do it, they're like they achieved something. They're like, okay, I did this. And like I feel great. So I'm going to come back again tomorrow, and I'm going to do this again because I can do it. I've seen it. I felt it now. I feel stronger. Make them believe in themselves. That's the first thing that I try to get people to believe in themselves, that they can actually achieve this and make a change. Because I'm trying to change their mindset first. Once I change their mindset, everything else is easier. Then I can push them. Then I can push the limits and work on all the other stuff. But setting them at the beginning with the goals that are doable for them, they might seem like, okay, it's too much, but I'll try. And they do it. And I know they can do it. It's not a lot, but they're going to feel it next morning. They're going to feel it the next day. They're going to feel good. And they might feel even a little bit sore. They don't have to be crazy sore. You don't have to push the limits right away. But start moving. Set up the goals that are achievable, that you can do it. So change your mindset. Once you complete that, everything after that, it just comes easier.
I mean, that's the lesson. You change your mindset. You're not going to be shocked the first week, because you're not going to be challenged to do too much that you've never done before, that you don't know whether or not you can do. You're going to prove that your body works. You're going to prove that you can move and grow from baseline, you have a foundation.
Yeah, because everyone, when they come in, I mean, they're just starting. So you start exercising, doing anything, your body's going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Like everything starting to hurt. It's going to start responding to that. So you're going to feel it even with just a minimal amount of work, but you're doing something that you haven't done in years. So right there, you're winning. Given
the way you're going to feel inside your body, and given a number of sort of content influencers, marketers that people are inundated with. How do I know if when I'm aching or hurting, whether I need a trainer or a coach or a PT, maybe I need physical therapy? What is your relationship with other sort of interventions?
Well, a lot of people come from different injuries and stuff like from doing physical therapy and stuff like that. And I'll get in touch with their physical therapist and see what the issue is and stuff like that. I help them out and work out. But a lot of people would try to do on their own, and they feel like, well, they're kind of stuck. They don't feel anything. They don't see any results. Or now it feels painful. It hurt. Maybe they hurt themselves by doing it and not doing it correctly. So that's when you should go and find someone, find a professional, find a trainer, and find somebody who knows what they're doing, who are experienced, who have more knowledge. So to guide you through that, because you might not be doing it right. You might be doing it too much. So you might not be recovering the right way, which in one of the podcasts, we're going to talk about recovery and touch on that. So you have to find somebody who can help you with all that stuff, or you might be stuck in, at the beginning it worked, but now you stop seeing results. So you don't know really how to change your routine and what to do now. And then, you're feeling too sore because you might have done too much. And then they get scared that maybe I pulled something, maybe I hurt myself. I'm like, no, you just did a little too much. But it's okay, recover a little more, stuff like that. So they try to work on the muscles that are already sore. I'm like, let them recover first before you do. So there's a lot of these little things, stuff that people don't know, and they get confused about when they start doing it on their own.
Especially when you come from a place where, okay, I could sleep funny and throw my back out for a week, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that you don't recognize if you're regularly doing that is that the more I come in and work with you, the less that happens, right? Like I find my posture is better. My just general ability to find a position and stay there is better than it has ever been. And those are the kinds of things I think about. Like maybe like I can see where, oh my gosh, I slept funny and threw my back out. I guess I can't go to the gym, can lead to, I'm going to go to my chiropractor and suddenly I'm in weeks of another intervention when what I really need is to just remind my body what it's capable of. Exactly.
I know one of the examples is I remember I was in a car accident. Me and my brother, actually, we were together. We got a car in an accident, and it was a bad accident. The ambulance came. They picked us up. They took us to the hospital, and they thought that we probably hurt our backs and injured the spine and all that stuff. So we did the MRI, X-ray, all that stuff right away. And the doctor came in, and he looked both of us. He was like, "You guys work out, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, regularly." For years we've been doing it. He was like, "You guys are completely fine." Looking at the accident, you wouldn't think that somebody would walk away from this. Because he was like, and he explained, he was like, well, your muscle just started contracting when the accident happened, just like it does at the gym. Muscle doesn't know if you're at the gym or if you're going through the car accident. It's just did the same thing that it's been doing for years. And that's why you guys can walk away. He was like, you guys might feel sore tomorrow.
Yeah, but probably no more than if you were at the gym.
Exactly. So next morning I called my brother. He was like, how do you feel? I'm like, great. I'm like, want to go to the gym? He was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And we worked out next day. I wasn't even sore. He was like, I'm not sore at all. It does help a lot. People don't realize. And then I know I have clients come to me all the time saying how they were doing stuff with their kids and kids were jumping, and she was like, yeah, I caught my daughter, just not even think about it, and held her, and I was like solid, didn't even lose the balance, didn't even move. Before, I wouldn't even think about it. I would throw my back. It was like, I wasn't even thinking until later. I'm like, wow, I just did that, and I feel great. It didn't fall, and all the stuff, like those little things, everyday stuff that you do, it does matter. Like you'll see that, you'll notice the differences. People just don't realize until something happens and they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, I just did that.
I feel like I know how you're going to answer this, but I want to just say it out loud because I imagine you've heard it before when you sign on a new client and they're with you for 3 or 4 weeks and they say, oh no, I missed a week. I got busy. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not meant to come work out at a gym, or progress is so slow and invisible. Maybe this just isn't for me. Right. They're on track for a positive mindset that got them in the door, but they're waning. Right? They aren't able to, they don't see themselves as somebody who can stick it out. What do you say?
Well, I tell them, I'm like, you already made some progress. And most of them start making better. They feel better. I'm like, you feel way better than when you started. I'm like, and plus, remember the reason why you started all this. I'm like, that's just remind them of what it's going to be like 5-10 years from now. If they quit, if they stop, they're going to regret. They're going to look back and they'll be like, man, I wish I would have continued. I wish I would have done that. I'm like, you probably, when you started, thought about that too. Thought about like, I got to start now, but it would have been nice if I would have started that earlier. You're just going to say the same thing to yourself 5 years from now. I'm like, do you want to be there or not? So I'm like, I don't expect you to be perfect. If you didn't see the results in the first 2 weeks, it's fine. It's up and down. That's the process. Like, it's going to go up and down. You're going to have weeks where you're going to feel horrible, and you might even lose some muscle mass, and you might start cheating a little bit more in your nutrition and stuff like that. But then you pick right up, because, a road to success, it's not a straight line up. It's going to be up and downs and injuries and all this stuff. But you keep going. And I'm like, I went through all that stuff. And when I look at myself where I was like 20 years ago, and now it's like, huge difference in the stuff that I went through, and injuries and surgeries and everything. But I kept going. You fall down, you pick yourself up, you keep going. I'm like, I'm here with you every step of the way, and I'll guide you through all that stuff. And then they're like, okay, I can do this. I'm like, here, we'll set up the next goal. We'll work on this. We're going to just give them something to work towards too. They like to have but smaller goals. They know why they're here. You want to give them something so they can, that mindset, they can change their mindset, give them little wins so they're more confident.
What role does tracking play into this? I mean, we're in a data obsessed culture, right? We all have our phones, we all have our tracking apps. And one of the things I notice is you don't push that hard to track, like to let me know at least how much you're lifting at any given time. What is the role of tracking?
Yeah, for me, everyone's a little bit different. Like, a lot of people, they like data, they like graphs, and they like all these numbers and stuff like that to see. I'm like, if that motivates you, if you like doing that and seeing, I'm like, just so you know, those numbers can go down, so don't get discouraged. For me, that's very discouraging, because I know a lot of people, they write things down, they write every set, every rep, all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? Not every week you're going to feel the same way. There's going to be weeks when you're more stressful at work, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're not recovering, right? You're not drinking enough water. All these things, there's so many little things that are going to affect the way you feel and your performance at the gym. You might not be able to push the same way that you did the last week or 2 weeks before that. And you're going to start writing things down. You're going to think, oh my God, I'm getting weaker. I used to be a lot stronger. What's wrong with me? It kills your confidence and all that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? You're not always going to feel. Sometimes I come in and start working out, and even my warm up is like, oh my God, it's so heavy. Like, I can barely move. I'm like, you know what? It's just one of those days. Just get through it. Just finish it. It's all about showing up, consistency. It's not about every single time pushing the same weight and the weight going up. It's not going to happen. That's not realistic. So that's why I don't like writing things down. Looking in the long run, that's why I do measurements every like month or 2 months. So I give you a little time there to, go through those up and downs. You're not going to see always and feel your best and be able to give your best. Sometimes people are just dragging through. They're like, I'm so tired. I'm like, I'm glad you're here. Let's do it. And we do what they can do, as much as they can do. For me, those workouts are more beneficial than when you feel great and you come in and you push all those weights and you're strong and everything feels amazing. It's you showing up when you don't feel like showing up, when you're weak. That what builds the mindset. It's just like, for me, it's like work. I have to go there. I have to be there. There's no option. Like, I can't call in sick. I go.
Right.
And I do it.
All right. So what did we miss? What did we miss that you want to get? I mean, in our little half-hour tutorial here, what do you want to make sure people get across as we start to wrap up?
Well, just letting people, because everyone I know when they come for the consultation, they tell people, I like being real with people, telling them, hey, just so you know, it's going to be work. It's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. Just getting them ready for that, to know when things happen, when they start going down, to like, hey, remember when I said that? It's going to go, there are going to be times when it's going to be hard, and, the numbers might go down and all that stuff. And everyone says, the more you go, it gets easier later. The thing is, like, it actually gets harder, not easier. That means,
well, that's not very helpful.
I know, but hear me out. I know everyone's like, you start, and once you start getting into it, it'll be fine. It's going to get much easier. Well, I'm like, and I always thought, I was like, it's not quite true. Like, it gets harder because now that you're getting in better shape every day, that means you have to do more to get even better shape. Now you have to push your limits even more. And then you have to add another day, and you have to add more cardio, and you have to add all these stuff. So I'm like, now I'm actually doing more. It's harder for me to get even better shape. So the only thing that gets easier, why people say that, now that you're getting used to coming to the gym and making it, you're now like laying down and just like, oh my God, I'm just struggling. I can't come in. Now you have a different mindset. That's why it's easier. You just go and you just do it. It's a lot easier now to go there and do what you're supposed to do. And it's the day when you have to come in, do your workout, and you just do it. So that's what gets easier. It's the motivation, the mentality. That's easier. And that's the most important thing. Once you have that, everything else will come with it. But the workouts itself, I'm like, it's going to get harder.
It's not like the weights are getting lighter.
I know. I feel like, I got, sometimes I see people, they get too comfortable and too cocky, like, results. And then next thing, like, the results going down because, they felt great. They saw the results going up, and now they're like, oh yeah, I got this. It's easy. And I'm like, no, you actually got to do more. And they're like, what?
Well, we're going to need to wrap up because I feel like we could go for a much longer time. But in terms of these library episodes, we now have, next week, we're going to talk about recovery and I guess healing from workouts properly. And so you don't hurt yourself. Good. Yeah,
pretty much what to do, what to focus on.
What I want to know now that I didn't know I wanted to know is maintenance. Like, is it worth doing a whole episode on what it takes to reach a point that you're happy and stay there?
Oh, yeah. That's kind of pretty much where I am most of the time. And then sometimes when I, step on the scale, do my measurements, I'm like, I'm not completely happy about this. I'm going to have to push a little bit harder. I'm like, okay, I got to get back on track. I'm adding
this to the list. We're going to need to do a session.
I got too comfortable with maintenance. That's what can happen sometimes. You get too comfortable, and then before you know, you're not maintaining it.
I just added it to the list. We're gonna talk about that. It's gonna be great.
Talk about
I can't
all this
wait.
Stuff and how to find the right gyms and right trainers, and talk about that. And
all right.
Bring some guests and
perfect.
Everything. Yeah. Well, if anyone had any questions, like, it would be great if they can send and tell me what they struggle with and what they would like to hear, and any way that I can help them in their fitness journey, what they're facing and what they find maybe helpful or more challenging, that we can help others.
Let's do it.
That would be great.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Look in the show notes for the link to send us a question. We would love to get those questions. We'll answer them on an upcoming show. Thank you, everybody, for downloading and listening to the show. We're so glad you joined us today. And, don't forget, share the show. That's a great way to help us. It certainly helps us. If you like what you're hearing, share it with friends, family. I don't know. Do you have a stadium full of 50,000 people that you could just blast it out to? We'd like that a lot. That'd be great. We'd really like that if you're a real stadium
goer. Maybe they'll all start working out. I'll get in the gym now.
You're going to need a bigger gym.
I want to open the door, and I want to see the line of 50 people in front of my gym right now waiting to start.
That's it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening to Build for Health, and we will catch you in the gym next week.